Welcome to Old Trafford in Manchester as we see Manchester United taking on Inter Milan in this Week 2 matchup. Both teams coming into the game 0-1, 0 points. A few changes and pickups from this Inter Milan lineup that we'll go through, but Manchester United deciding not to make any changes to a side that got beat 4-1 against Barcelona last week. Thinking, it's just a fluke. Squad's a little bit better than what we're going to face today. We will hope for the best. As we take a look at that Manchester United lineup, see Wilkesano still getting the start in net. Yute Pollock, now listed as a center forward, still playing in the back. Yoshina Yamura and Lucas Sabitzer in front of that. They have great players. It just seems like they're missing something. It could be just guys to link up with, a little bit of defensive presence, but Man U feels like they're a little bit off. And speaking of those changes, Inter Milan sticking with the same formation. Lucas Kuhn still in net, wearing the captain's armband. But we see Ibrahim Zakarai, a pickup off of the free agent wire, taking over for Max Harrison. Harrison off the bench and the starting 11 entirely. And we see Rajiv Van Wolfswinkel there on the bench. Another guy picked up in free agency. Will those guys be the difference in what Inter Milan's trying to do, and will that provide more success? Two teams sitting 4th and 5th in the league right now, only because of the debacle that was the Club America game. As we get underway, and already you see Inter Milan comes out with a lot more energy than they had last week. Wang Ho. Christian Franklin. A little bit too excited with the ball forward, but already more aggressive than they were against Arsenal. Griffin Lennon picked off by Danny Astier. Christian Franklin going to get the ball moving forward again. Good ball outside Christian Franklin. Has man in the middle. David Eriksson puts the ball off target. He's a quality enough player. You have to assume that if that ball was inside the pipes, it would have been 1-0 Inter. Now, last week we saw Manchester United get beat through the middle time and time again. Will they be able to close that gap down today? Wang Ho, definitely a guy that did not get going last week. Will look to do so today to keep his team in the league hunt. As we see Ibrahim Zakarai already making his presence known. First game in the league, was part of that preseason Wolfsburg team that actually beat up on a couple of these squads. Gets another nice foot to the ball, takes over this time actually. That Mathis Eriksson line definitely looking better today than it did last week. Wang Ho forward to Christian Franklin. Franklin step over. Not able to get by Florian Rocker. Man U getting the ball forward. Zakarai, again, matching up with Griffin Lennon. And he's a guy I'm surprised didn't get drafted straight away. It's good to see him get picked up, get some play time. In my eyes, one of the best defenders that we had available. And it's awesome to see that he found a home in Inter. As Mathis gets the ball across to Wang Ho. You see Christian Franklin wide open, gets the ball at his feet. Slotted top net, and we find Inter up 1-0 19 minutes into this game. Franklin with his first on the season. Inter with their first on the season. And it brings up the question, does Manchester United have what it takes at the back to compete at the highest level? Preseason, I thought their attack was going to push them through and get them wins. Now I'm not so sure. We see that their marking is not what it needs to be. Florian Roker way out of position. Ute Pollock all the way on the other side of the field almost. Great awareness. Great finish from Christian Franklin as we see Inter Milan go up 1-0. And there it is again, just watching, you're seeing Manchester United. They're not comfortable on the ball. They're not finding the opportunities going forward. They're not finding the right man at the right time. As David Eriksson gets the ball at his feet. Ball over Arkady Zuzic. And quickly we see Inter go up 2-0. This is the team that we wanted to see week one. We're not able to break down Arsenal. Made some key free agent signings already. You see that Griffin Lennon has been locked down by Ibrahim Zachariah, and it's given the team opportunity to get forward. They don't need to be as passive. They can get up front and do things like this with a 1-2. Arkady Zuzic showing that both wingers on this Inter squad have the opportunity to put the ball in the net if there's enough space. But we see Kagawa, a midfielder, the only man even nearby Zuzic when he's taking the shot. That back line for Man U needs someone there to anchor them. They can trade pretty much anyone in the league looking for a striker. But there's a couple of guys in free agency like Wakili Rumfa, Pasquini from Argentina. The two of those guys may be the answer to this question of what will Manchester United do to shore up that back line. They've already given up 6 goals in a little bit less than a game and a half, and that just won't cut it. Speaking of Denis Yexov, their only goal scorer this season. Ball at his feet now. Nice little ball through, but not enough power. Mazzaros cuts it out. Preseason, I saw Inter as our 4th best team. I would probably rank them a little bit higher now after their free agent pickups and the way that they've adjusted their lineup. But Manchester United has not lived up to what I thought they'd be as Wang Ho gets the ball forward. Harry Mathis, back to Wang Ho. David Eriksson. A large part of me said that Manchester United has too much firepower. No one's going to be able to stop them. They're going to make runs through the middle, runs through the outside, and it's just going to be a blitz all game, every game. They've been incredibly passive so far. We've seen that they lack that playmaker because everyone's trying to be the guy, and because of that, their defense is left out on a branch by themselves, not able to do much. And it's really killing the team's momentum as Griffin Lennon tries getting one through. Magellan picking it off nicely. Zachariah there again as he just gives the ball back to Fuentes. Danny Astia gets in front of that one. It's the first time we've seen Zachariah blunder a little bit. Christian Franklin up to David Eriksson. Back to Franklin. Wang Ho. And Simone Lupatelli with a nice cutout. He's really the only guy on that defensive line that's been any sort of factor in slowing down an offensive push from the opposition. 1 minute of extra time. We're going to see this half go 2-0 to Inter. And preseason, I thought they might take off one of the big 3. they're showing that they're going to be the team to take off one of the big three. As we see, Miguel Fuentes has done very little in this game so far. Hopefully he can get it going in the second half, but that Man U captain, there are questions that are going to be raised. Is he in his coach's ear saying, hey, maybe this isn't what we need to do, maybe let's change it up? But what we've seen so far out of these two teams is Inter bounce back from their loss. They look hungry. They look aggressive. They saw what went wrong in their first game, and they decided to make the changes. Whereas Manchester United said, it went wrong. It won't go wrong twice, and here we are reliving the same story. I think a big key to the second half will be what can Manchester United do as far as getting the ball forward. Inter has done a great job of moving the ball around, getting it to the guys that they want to have it. And Man U they felt stagnant again. Defense from Inter is very good. I think that they're probably the second best defense behind Barcelona. So this Man U start to the season, not kind. Best defense, second best defense, and then possibly the best offense in the league right now, playing Arsenal in week 3. But they cut out the ball. Fuentes decides to pull back, and just more of the same from Man U. They're not aggressive. Griffin Lennon, not sure where that pass was supposed to go, but Wang Ho was standing right where it went. Helder Magellan. Back to Ibrahim Zakarai. Gassi Knighton didn't have the greatest of preseasons, but in the role that he's being asked to play for this Inter Milan side right now, he seems a lot more comfortable. Big body, middle of the field. Not asked to do too much as far as ball handling. But you see that he's growing into someone that could potentially be a threat to opposing defenses. Danny Assia gets in front, beats Sabitzer to the ball, getting it back to Mazzaros, who just gives it up to Fuentes. Sabitzer, Fuentes. Right now, it looks like Miguel Fuentes is really the only guy on this Manchester United squad that wants the ball, that wants to get forward, that wants to really create anything. Another cutout by Zakarai. Although the offense has been great today, as Christian Franklin gets one-on-one with Juche Pollock, who for some reason is all the way in the back. Ball across back to Zuzic. Mathis, Wang Ho, and Will Castano with a wonderful save, able to catch and control. Good cutout by Zuzic. Wang Ho. Christian Franklin cut out by Lucas Sabitzer. So far, Ibrahim Zakarai has showed why he was picked up by this Inter squad and immediately launched into their starting 11. Surprised it took till week 2, but not surprised that it happened. He's an incredibly talented player as David Eriksson gets the ball forward to Christian Franklin alone. Will Castano gives up a second goal to his countrymen. That is 3-0 Inter as we get into the 69th minute. And Christian Franklin, this is the game he wanted last week. I'm not sure what the real difference is. but he's just absolutely dismantling the right side of Man U's defense. Florian Roker is not keeping up with him in the slightest. See the scoreline go to 3-0. All 3 goals scored from the wings of Inter, just getting inside, beating their man, finding the gaps in the defense, and not taking no for an answer. Yes, Knighton turns the ball over. Dennis Yuksov. If you had told me at the start of the season that almost through 2 full games Manchester United would only have 2 goals, I would call you a liar. But here we are, Dennis Yuksov, the only man with a goal for the Red Devils. And it's a little bit sad. Hopefully they can get it going. Right now, the only team in the league with fewer goals than they have is America, and the team is fielding an all-goalie lineup as Ibrahim Zachariah cuts off another pass. He could be the reason that this squad has had no offensive ability as Will Castano steps out, takes the ball off of Eriksen's feet. But once again, we see Man U get beat. Great move by Zachariah. See Griffin Lennon with the ball. And Yoshino Yamura puts in a first goal of the game. It's probably going to be too much too late as we see the scoreline go 3-1 in the 85th minute. More of a consolation goal than anything threatening. Yoshino Miyamura was the first pick by this Man U side and hasn't really done much to deserve that so far. Every other first pick on every other team is produced except for Joshua Hamidu, who was away in Africa for the first game of the season. But Jack Flash leading the goal, hat trick in the first game. You have to question, is he the guy that needs to step up and do something? Is he the guy that needs to be put into a new position to succeed? And immediately after scoring is taken off for Robin Manillet. Going a little bit more defensive. Maybe a rework on the formation is what this team needs. Because so far, whatever they've been doing has not been it. Good ball forward, Arcadia Zujic. Harry Mathis. Not doing anything too fancy. Just pulling back out. Helder Magellan is there. Zuzic. Nice back heel. Magellan up to Wang Ho. Sabitzer up to Yeksov. We could see a second goal here, but with extra time ticking down pretty quickly, looks like this game's going to end at 3-1. Wonderful rebound game from Inter. They're going to go into the Week 1 rivalry against Club America, and you have to think that they're going to be able to put up at least 6-7 goals with the way that they played today against a team that's had very, very hard time stopping opposing offenses. Christian Franklin with a pair of goals. Deserving of the match ball, but me personally, I'm giving that thing to Ibrahim Zachariah, stepping into a new team, not knowing his teammates, and locking down everything that Man U was trying to throw at him right up until the very end where Yamura slipped through. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm worried. I'm going into a game against a red-hot Arsenal squad for rivalry week. My team hasn't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. Changes. Change is going to be the word of the day around that facility if they plan on getting any sort of points out of it. It's going to be surprising if we see Man U down at the bottom of the table right alongside Club America, rocking at no points coming out of week 3. But that fight for P4 on the table between Inter and Bayern Munich just got a little bit more exciting. I thought that one of those teams, if not both, will take a game off of one of the top teams, and here we see Inter doing just that. Bayern started off strong against Club America, got a nice little gimme win, but played Barca. Nope. They played Arsenal today. See how that game finishes off. We could be seeing both teams on 3 points, looking at actually third in the league. So top half of the table for both. But keys for me, Inter seem like they figured it out. They have the lineup that they're going to want. What does Man U do to adjust going into week 3 against Arsenal? And on that note, thank you for watching. We'll check you next week for Rivalry Week.